If you feel like you're constantly working, but you're not making the progress that you want, you do not need a new goal. You need better systems. I have started and sold multi-million-dollar companies, and I'm now the CEO of Acquisition.com. And I'm not here because I'm smarter or more talented than you. I'm here because I have built daily fail-proof systems that deliver actual results in my life. Here's how I build systems that work harder than I could ever work. Many people come and they say, I just can't get the motivation. But what they don't realize is that most people don't have a motivation problem. They have a systems problem. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You actually are going to fall to the level of the systems you put in place.
You fall to the level of your systems. Let's allow that statement to land, because it isn't a clever piece of advice. It is an observation of a fundamental law of reality, as undeniable as gravity. Leila is articulating a truth that governs all human endeavor, from building billion-dollar companies to rebuilding one's own body and mind. It is the silent, invisible architecture of our lives. Your outcomes, the tangible results you see in your bank account, in the mirror, and in your relationships, are not a reflection of your passing desires or your New Year's resolutions. They are a direct, calculated output of your design. Your daily life is a machine. Right now, as you listen to this, that machine is running. It is meticulously engineered, piece by piece, habit by habit, to produce a specific result. The most terrifying and liberating realization is that this machine runs continuously, whether you consciously designed it or not. Therefore, the most critical shift in thinking you can ever make is to stop wishing for a different result and to begin, instead, to bravely examine the machine itself. For decades, we've been indoctrinated with the gospel of goal setting. We're told to dream big, to set massive, audacious goals that are supposed to pull us forward. But a goal, by its very nature, lives in the distant and ethereal realm of the future. It is an idea, an emotional destination that we feel inspired by in a fleeting moment of clarity or, more often, in a moment of quiet desperation. The profound psychological trap here is that we anchor all of our hope to this imagined future version of ourselves, a person who we magically assume will have more discipline, more energy, and more motivation than the person we are today. This creates a vast, perilous gap between our present actions and our future aspirations. This gap is a chasm where progress goes to die. It is filled with the friction of doubt, the gravity of procrastination, and the corrosive belief that the goal belongs to someone else, a better, more capable version of you that simply hasn't arrived yet. You wait for that person to show up, not realizing that your daily actions are ensuring they never will. A system, in stark and powerful contrast, is not concerned with the future. It does not live in the imagination. It lives and breathes in the concrete reality of the present moment. A system is not an aspiration. It is a set of instructions. It is a physical action. When you build a system, you are making a deliberate decision for your present self, not deferring responsibility to your future one. And here is the core of its power. Each time you execute your system, every time you lay out your gym clothes the night before, every time you open the document to write for 1 hour, every time you make the sales call you've been dreading, you are not just performing a task. You are casting a tangible vote for the person you intend to become. You are laying a single brick in the foundation of a new identity. With each vote, with each brick, you are closing the chasm between who you are and who you want to be, not with hope, but with evidence. You no longer need to believe you are a disciplined person. Your system provides the proof. Belief doesn't precede action. It follows it. That we live in a culture that worships willpower. We celebrate the narrative of the lone hero who, through sheer grit and mental toughness, brute forces their way to success. But this is a novice's game, a deeply inefficient and unsustainable strategy. To rely on willpower is to misunderstand human psychology at its most fundamental level. Willpower is a finite resource, like a battery that begins each day with a full charge and is progressively drained by every decision, every temptation, and every act of self-restraint. High performers, the ones who achieve elite results with seeming ease, understand this instinctively. They do not possess a larger battery. They have simply learned to depend on it less. A well-designed system makes the desired behavior the path of least resistance. It seeks to automate virtue. It engineers an environment where your best choices become your default choices. The battle is not won in the moment of temptation against the cookie. It is won days earlier in the grocery store when you follow a system of not buying the cookies in the first place. Consider the immense, unseen burden you carry each day, the cognitive tax of decision fatigue. This is the silent drain on your most precious resource, your focused attention. Before your most important work even begins, you are assaulted by 1,000 tiny choices. What to eat for breakfast? Which email to answer first? What to wear? Should I tackle the hard task now or the easy one? Each of these seemingly insignificant decisions is a small withdrawal from your mental bank account. A life without systems is a guaranteed path to cognitive bankruptcy. It is death by 1,000 micro-decisions. By systematizing the recurring and the essential, you make these critical decisions once, ahead of time, when your mind is clear and strategic. This act of pre-decision frees up an enormous reserve of cognitive bandwidth. Systems are the gatekeepers of your mind. They handle the mundane traffic of daily life so that the master of the house, your conscious, creative, problem-solving mind, can be preserved for what truly matters. Leila mentions building trust with yourself, and this is perhaps the most profound and life-altering benefit of a systems-based existence. It is the internal reward that fuels all external progress. Every time you follow through on your system, you are keeping a micro-promise to yourself. This single act may seem insignificant in the moment, but its effect is cumulative. These kept promises are like small, consistent deposits into a high-interest account of self-trust. Over time, this account grows with compounding interest, becoming your single most valuable asset. A person with low self-trust is constantly plagued by second-guessing, procrastination, and a desperate need for external validation. A person with high self-trust operates from a place of quiet confidence, decisiveness, and an unshakable internal locus of control. This isn't arrogance. It is a deep, earned-through-evidence belief in your own reliability. It is the bedrock upon which all significant and lasting achievement is built, the start of any new endeavor. You are the one running the system. You are the doer. You are the one pushing the flywheel. But the ultimate goal, the point of true leverage, is to evolve your role. You must consciously plan the transition from being the engine to being the engineer, from being the machine itself to becoming the architect who designs, maintains, and upgrades the machine. A doer's output is forever capped, limited by their own finite hours and personal energy. They are on a hamster wheel, and their only strategy for more output is to run faster. The architect, however, has levitated above the machine. They are looking at the schematics, observing the points of friction, oiling the gears, and upgrading the components. Their potential for leverage is immense because they are no longer improving their own effort, they are improving the system of production. This is the critical mindset that allows for scalable success, not just in business, but in designing a life of continuous growth. That a system is not a static edict carved in stone, to be followed perfectly or abandoned at the first sign of trouble. It is a living hypothesis, a dynamic experiment being tested in the complex laboratory of your daily life. And when a part of it breaks, when you miss a workout, when you eat off plan, when a process fails to get the intended result, it is not a moral failing. It is not an indictment of your character or your worth. It is simply data. The system is providing you with invaluable, dispassionate feedback on its own design flaws. Adopting this mindset changes everything. It strips the ego and the emotion out of setbacks. I failed becomes the system failed, and now I have the information needed to improve it. It transforms every point of friction into a valuable opportunity to build a stronger, more resilient, anti-fragile machine. This is how you build an identity that doesn't just survive stress, but actually gets stronger because of it. There is a common and deeply flawed misconception that a life of systems is a rigid, boring, and restrictive one, the domain of robots, not creative humans. The absolute opposite is true. The most chaotic and suffocating prison is a life without structure, a life where you are a perpetual slave to the tyranny of the urgent, the whim of every mood, and the siren song of every external distraction. That is not freedom, it is the worst kind of bondage. Disciplined, intelligent systems are the very foundation of true freedom. By putting your health, your finances, your relationships, and your most important work on a reliable, automated footing, you liberate your mind. This is the ultimate endgame. You create vast, open spaces of time and mental energy. This is where real freedom lies. The freedom to be creative, the freedom to be fully present with your loved ones, and the freedom to consciously choose where you deploy your most precious gift, your attention. If this deeper insight into the architecture of achievement resonated with you, subscribe for more analyses and share in the comments how this principle shifts your perspective on goals. To get the full original context and the practical how-to from the source, make sure to watch Leila's complete video linked in the description below.